Hello guys, it's Peter from PS Sound, and in this explained video we are going to run through this RS6 that we spent a lot of time on. I wanted to spend more time on this car for you guys to share more content, go really deep into detail. So this will be a quicker video, still packed with information, especially for those who are planning a system in a car like this. But yeah, we are very tight on time for many reasons, so I gotta run quick. So the aim was to have a build in this car that's OEM plus. It's not in the face, not show display in the trunk or at the front, but still to get the best performance possible. So let's start at the boot. Some of you could see a few videos and shortly reels on social where we shared what's underneath. Some of you may recognize that. So this is the car where we have a lot of gear underneath the floor, where we have a Brax DSP, which has the latest ESS cards on tweeter and mid. On the rest we have the AKs, which is perfectly fine. Then we have two C-FOUR amplifiers underneath, one here and one on the other side of, there you go. And you can see how much more stuff we have in there. All the fuse distributions for all the amplifiers, DSP, most integration box, all of that. And the rack was designed and built in a way that it can be folded up on two levels. It can be folded up once to get to the C-FOUR amplifiers underneath, and then it can also be folded up all together so we can get to the hybrid battery, just in case that this car ever needs access to that battery, because this build was not done for 1 or 2 years. Some people build amazing systems in cars which are leased and they have to be turned back in a relatively short time. This car is going to stay like this for a very long time. The owner has no intention to get rid of this car. It's, you know, it's someone's life achievement, dream car, many people's dream car. Like, what more do you want than a performance daily estate that has space for luggages, family, and has insane power. So the Brax DSP runs the system and controls every single channel in the car. The C-FOURs run the tweeters, the mids, and the mid bass, and then the last two channels out of the 8 channels of the two C-FOURs run the rear speakers, because we also have two-way setup in the rear doors running passively. Then we also have two monoblocks here. We have one M-ONE X for the rear sub, and then we have another M-ONE X for the front woofer. Maybe from now on I'm going to start to call the front driver front woofer, because when we explain that we have a rear sub and a front sub, people freak out and they don't understand it. Of course, it's going to be something that people will bring up even in 10 years time, because wherever you come from, whatever car audio culture you've been exposed to, this is not something people do. It's, you know, you could say that it's like a competition level system where people want the best tonal accuracy on bass, the best integration. You want to hear all the notes. You want to get the tightness, the dynamics, the attack. And we like to do it this way, to have the front woofer. There you go, we call it the front woofer. But we will talk a little bit more about that when I'm at the front of the car. So that's what's happening at the back. The power was coming from the factory battery. From here, we have a fuse holder behind. I'm going to have to put in picture there. Easy access. And then we have a MOS box on that side behind the panel that does the integration. Here I have to have a short warning for anybody with new Audi. So before, it was plug and play, that easy. Whether you had Bose, whether you had Bang & Olufsen or whatever upgraded audio system in an Audi, you could just take the fiber optic out of the amplifier, which was usually located somewhere at the back of the boot, and then you can just plug that fiber optic into a MOS integration box. MOS is the signal platform that runs from the head unit to the rear amplifier on fiber optic, and that little magical box can decode the information from fiber optic and give you an optical input to the DSP, what we are doing here as well. However, it's not plug and play anymore. Unfortunately, the audio system doesn't run on MOS anymore. It runs on Ethernet, and there's no simple solution for that. And the biggest problem is that Audi locked the OBD port down. You don't have access to anything to get it recorded. So the whole process of getting signal out of the factory system right now in good quality is a big hassle. You need somebody, you need a specialist who has authorized access to coding anything in the car, which for us meant that we had to take the car to an Audi specialist who had a new OBD module that we could plug in, because Vacom doesn't work anymore. Then they couldn't even help us coding it, so we needed a guy from America that we found through the beautiful car audio community that we have, and I got recommendation who to contact at NPG Technology, if I remember well, in America on the East Coast. And then somebody could help me online to remotely control my laptop, connect to the factory head unit, and then get it recorded. But even that was a nightmare, because he had to send the code off to US, get a return code back that was authorized, and then he could change the head unit to most. Because we have fiber optic in the head unit, it just doesn't use it anymore. So yeah, it's big hassle and big money because it involves time, it involves logistics. So if you want a good system with most integration, just when I have short time to record anything for you guys, that's when my phone gives up recording as well. Sorry for that. So to finish it, in order to get proper coded clean signal out of the factory head unit is going to be quite a challenge, and that's now pretty much what's going to happen in the future with latest Audis and anything that's coming from the Volkswagen group. So yeah, if you don't want to go through that hassle and pay for all of that, then you might just have to consider integrating the system on speaker level, which in a car like this would be equally quite challenging because you have fully active three-way front, so you have to feed at least 6 channels into a DSP, get some sort of clean signal out of it, but it's never going to be good enough for a quality system like this. It will be good for sat-nav, phone calls, radio, that's about it. But in order to play good quality music, you will need an alternative source, whether you use an APTX module, stream, or you have wired coax or USB digital connection to the system. You will have to think of that solution for sure. So yep, system is very, very practical this way. Everything is back. Yes, we had to add fans, we have circulation. That side is blowing the air in, this side is sucking it out because the car is going back to Greece, where it came from, to us from 2,000 miles away, and Greece is very hot at most of the times of the year. So this amp rack definitely needs a lot of air for cooling. If you didn't want to do that modification, probably you could have like a DSP amplifier for the components, but having Class AB amplifiers, especially a Brax DSP that we chose for the finest quality, then yeah, you can forget that. Without active cooling, that's not going to be reliable in hot countries. Subbox, a little bit about that as well. That will be located offset to the side, so then a single seat is still fully functional for daily use. We just kept it in the middle for the video and taking pictures because I have that OCD. It has to be central for me, and I don't know, that's just my thing. Symmetrical, although yes, we put our logo offset. A nice little touch, we laser edged the logo into Alcantara. The box was made out of 18mm birch, and then we have some trim panels that gave us the chance to trim this box with real leather, and yeah, the front baffle with Alcantara, and then we will have the grille slotting in to protect the driver. I just didn't put it in because I don't know, it looks good until we show it to the owner, take a few pictures, videos, and then the car is going to a very practical state. In order to make that sub box also mounted securely, there was no other option that we could come up with that would be safe enough, so I can go to sleep just fine without worrying, especially in a performance car like this, that we had to bolt a panel down. You can see a big bolt there that goes down into a factory point for this rail. So that pulls that panel down, then the box can be bolted to that panel. We have another 1/2 inch 12mm ply underneath the box that has bolt points on the side, which are not in at the moment. But then we have fixing points in the middle, and then we have fixing points there on the side as well, as you can see. And that's gonna be metric into the floor. And you know, I never want to see cars going upside down, but if it goes upside down, that box stays in place. I don't want to see it fly, because owner had ideas about fixing it to tie points on the seat, that you have metric points there on the seat, but they are not rigid enough, and especially not for a box that's above 30 kilogram, which is around, I don't know, 70 pounds. It's pretty heavy, and in case of maneuvers, accident or anything, that could fly. So I always emphasize safety. Safety comes first. This sub only plays the bottom end. It's crossed below 45 Hertz. Some people don't understand why we have front and rear. Rear is doing the last few octaves, doing the extension. And this sub in a slightly oversized 40-liter box is mega. It's clean all the way down to 13 Hertz. It's silly. It's doing IB performance when it comes to the bottom end. It plays clean notes, very accurate, integrates well. I know many people think JL audio is mainstream, but you know, every driver has its purpose. It's not going to be as accurate as the woofer we have at the front, but when it comes to the bottom end, these subs are amazing. Just like W7, that's a bit more of a beast that you can push even further. Or you could have two of these in a big box going across. Yeah, that would be super effortless. But one is perfectly enough for this system, and it gives plenty of output. It can create club level, and owner is more than happy with this amount of output. Going to the front, we have the rear speakers installed in factory locations. So this way you don't see anything from it. We have a Steg MSS6 at the bottom, and then we have a Steg tweeter coming out of another speaker set that plays the top end. We put in a cap to cut the lower frequencies of the tweeter, and after tuning it sounds perfectly fine for rear passenger duty, because we can use the rear doors running differential, so the rear speakers only play the stereo content and they play as an ambient speaker at the back. They give more room information and space in the car for the front listeners. Or when there are rear passengers, then the preset can be changed to a setting where the rear doors play normal signal, full stereo signal, and then the rear passengers get nice clean detail at the back. Because people are like, oh, you don't need rear speakers. Well, good luck having passengers at the back when you have a front end. It doesn't matter how good quality front end you have. If you have a sub at the back and front end, rear passengers will struggle, and that's where rear speakers are still needed. But of course, you have to be careful how to tune them so it doesn't distract the front listening, and it does a good job at the rear seats as well, which is not a problem for us to tune it, but I know many people struggle with it, and that's why they say that no, you don't need rear speakers, which, yeah. Front. Here, we needed to keep the car as OEM as possible. The good thing was that the factory comes with a sealed enclosure. However, many people freak out when they see the size of the enclosure in this car, because it's only like 3 liter tiny little sealed box, which came with a 6.5 from factory, which was a very, very capable driver. Even if you kept that driver and then put a nice amplifier behind it, it would perform really well. But that's more like a woofer. It's not such an accurate mid-bass driver to integrate to a mid. It will do a good job, at least it plays the bass well, especially if you don't have a front sub, it will play lower. But that's not the way we design the systems. We wanted the mid-bass to play accurate, controlled, tight notes. So for the punchy, rhythmic bass notes, we have that 10-inch Morel shallow driver, and that does a very accurate job. It's pretty amazing, to be fair. It's so controlled, it disappears in the system. It becomes a fundamental part of the system. And that's what I mentioned in many videos. Probably the biggest improvement anybody has ever done in his car, when you go through a journey and then you try new solutions to install speakers like mid-bass drivers in boxes or on the kicks in a box or in IB or whatever. You hear the difference. And when people experience a good front sub, oh yeah, it's magic. You can't live without it. And yes, we had to cut the carpet for this little job. But again, this car is going to stay like this for a good while. And even if we needed to turn this car back to factory, buying a floor carpet is not a big deal. It's not like cutting steel in a car. No steel was cut in this one. So this combination works actually great. That's a small sealed box, but we found the driver that's not having so crazily high QTC. And after I tuned it, this is crossed above 90 Hertz. It blends in so well, and then we have no buzzes, no resonances. So people could say that, oh, you could have taken those boxes out and just mount the mid-bass playing into the door. But then, no, in our book, that's just not good enough. It's uncontrolled bass. It doesn't give you that tightness, that chest kick, and you have resonances. It doesn't matter how much soundproofing you do, it will never be as good as a sealed enclosure or any other way of installing a mid-bass, just keeping it away from the door. This works as a combination like this beautifully. Again, I can say this. Some of the guys who follow our content on Patreon, they know a bit more about the situation. You can also check out the RT evaluation of this car. You will see what response we get from those boxes, how the front sub is behaving. But technically, yes, that plays between a 45-90 Hertz crossover point, and the mid-bass takes over from 90 upwards. Then we get to the mids. So from factory, the mid-range is there. And If you want a fully OEM upgrade, sure, you can keep the mid-range there. But we wanted something better. Again, everybody has a reference level and an expectation level. Probably the owner didn't want to go as far as we went, but we knew that we wanted to build an amazing system. And then that location just, you know, it wouldn't be good enough for a mid-range for us. Because when it comes to especially technicality and staging, you know, that speaker location there for a mid-range is unbeatable. Some people will argue that it's better to have it on the pillar or on the sail panel or whatever. Well, argue with people who have, you know, wrote several case studies, physicians who proved it dozens of times, decades ago, that that location for mid-range is the best you can get in a car. Some installers may say that, you know, it's not good to fire the speaker into the windscreen because it causes many problems. Well, pillars cause just as many problems, actually, even bigger, even more problems, which cannot be fixed so easily. I don't know. I learned to tune cars correctly, and I can manage tuning mids in the dash, but what it does when it comes to staging, it's quite something. So we have the Brax ML3 over there, 3-inch driver that takes over from 250 Hertz going up, and then we have our AMTs here in the pillars in custom little pods with a new design, more rounded off and with a speaker cloth, so it blends in better. It's more OEM plus. It's not so much in the face like some installs you could see from us with AMTs, so it's more presentable. And that integration works great. These tweeters are super detailed. Once people hear AMTs from us, they can decide whether they like it or not. But most of our customers fall in love straight away, and they like it. So we went with these tweeters for many reasons, but mainly because they have so great detail. They're so clean, and they do a very special job. You don't necessarily need to spend, you know, thousands for a tweeter. We found these, and now they are available in few countries, and of course in UK. Yeah, it's worth to come to some of our meetings, or come to Salzburg. Middle of May we will have Eurofinals, and then you will hear many cars with these tweeters there for sure. So this is how this system comes together when it comes to speaker installation. A lot of time went into it. Like the mid-range design, there was no location there from factory. There was just a small hole on the grill. This grill went all the way, so we had to modify, cut it, and fit the 3-inch there, which can be completely reversed. That grill has to be bought. It can be clipped in, easy peasy. And on the other side, the grill was just a single piece, so that was easier to modify and fit the ML3. Not many mid-range would fit there because of their physical size. This is a shallower driver, so it was easy to make space for it and keep it at relative flush level with the dash. So I think, yeah, that turned out pretty smooth. It's definitely not in your face. So yeah, we have full factory integration with the head unit, as I mentioned now. We can also use a DAP or any other source with APTX. And then we also have a conductor hidden here where we can control master volume, although that's set, especially when the system plays through the head unit. We have bass level, then press it one more time, then you can attenuate rear fill. Press it one more time, we have tone control. Yellow is treble, shell filter. Actually, that was, yeah, through the camera it doesn't come through so well, so that's yellow. Press and hold, then it's purple, and purple is bass, and that's yellow, that's treble. Press it one more time, we have presets. Well, we have different presets. We have a very accurate kind of like competition level tune on it, and then we have another tune for daily where we have a bit more bass, and it's a bit more forgiving in the upper frequency range, so you can listen to music louder. We have a preset for all seat where the rear speakers also play full signal. Then we have a preset for passenger, and we also have a preset for an occasion when potentially the rear sub has to come out, and then only the front sub is going to play without a high pass filter, and it plays down pretty low, to be fair. But from the front of the car, you can't expect this driver to play crazy low because of how acoustics works in a car. You know, the note from here goes not just to the driver, but it goes to the back of the car, then reflects and come back to the front. And that doesn't allow front woofers to play below 35-40 hertz really well. That is the reason why we still need a rear sub. But what this driver does at the front is so accurate, so tight. With minimal excursion, you already get such a great punchy feeling in the car, and it's installed in a rigid, well-built box that you can actually also see a fabrication video of. Eddie takes the fabrication videos on our Patreon channel, and then you know, you have 40, 50, 60-minute long videos, step-by-step guides how to build these boxes, how to build trim panels in front of them. And then once the trim panel goes in, it's completely hidden, but the panel is transparent, so the bass still comes through. So that's pretty much walking around the car. The only thing I might have to do, I might have to drag the owner in for a second. That's where we need a few words from him, because what we like, you know guys, sometimes when we have a chance, we have a time, then we get the feedback from the owner. Because me saying that this is an amazing system is one thing. We can say that, and every car sounds amazing on the internet, right? You know, you came to us 3 months ago to visit us first, wasn't it? 3 months, November.
Yep. Yes.
That's when you popped in, because we had a nice friend who introduced caraudio to you. And then what convinced you to contact us for a build? Because you live very far from us, that's for sure.
I do live very far in Greece, but this friend of mine who had his car developed by you, he showed me what the car could do in Greece.
Yeah.
And it was a very challenging car, right? It was an old custom.
That system was nothing like this, but still, we transformed it. Yeah, still.
Absolutely. In that car, to achieve that level of staging and clarity of sound, I was very impressed. So on my next trip, business trip over to London, I paid a visit to Peter, and he showed me a couple of demo cars, and I was blown away. This was like completely next level experience from anything I had.
That's the only way. We always say people have to hear demo cars, although it's easy to impress those people who don't have high expectations or reference levels what can be done in a car. Because you could go to many shops, and until it sounds clean and loud, that's it, but there's more to it.
Yep.
And then you heard the S-Class, that was an OEM platform performing well. But then you also heard Eddie's car, which is the opposite, a full custom crazy build.
Which was a different experience altogether. So yeah, for me, it wasn't just a much better system. Yeah. It was something I couldn't ever expect to hear in a car. And that's what really clicked for me. It clicked immediately.
And now we had to combine kind of those two type of systems into one.
Yeah.
That pretty much what happened in this one, actually, because it definitely performs better in many ways than an OEM upgrade. But it's not so crazy drastic modification to the car like, for example, Eddie's.
But still, it's a next level experience, I feel. And I know I've been a very difficult customer, because I had a lot of requirements.
Everybody has.
Not modifying the car, not losing functionality from the car, really. And
that's absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
The challenges in this car were not you. The challenges were the car itself, what many people on Patreon could follow, because we had the daily updates showing every single day's progress. We were showing what was really making us pull our hair out. And then you could follow it as well. That's the other thing.
I could follow it on a daily basis with videos you were sending me, and I felt I was part of the whole process.
You had to be.
Yeah.
Everybody, whatever we build, they have to be. I never had a project where they told me, Pete, do what you want, and at the end up just pick it up. That doesn't work for us. We want to make sure that we meet every single expectation, because I don't want to end up in a situation at the end where, people feel like, it's not quite how I imagined. We don't want that. Yes, we changed many things along the way, even in this project, when it comes to fitting gear at the back, figuring out how we can do a rear sub, because originally we wanted to just have that rear quarter panel for a rear sub, but okay, that was my part. That wasn't good enough for me, which only made sense now when you heard this system with that box there. Yes, sometimes that box may have to come out, but it's going to be manageable. And yeah, when it's in, it does something special.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. I mean, I mean, I had some expectations from your demo cars, but I didn't expect that I would get that level of.
Because you can think we spend so much time on those. That's why they are so good.
Yeah.
They're competition cars.
There's always some trick that you do. You know, it's always in my mind that I will never be as good as these cars. But I think you outdid yourself here.
We did a lot.
What you guys did in my
I gotta mention to the public as well that this level of installation is something where you have to count with 300 hours of work, because that's what went into this thing, which now it doesn't show. It doesn't show. It only shows when people see every single day's behind the scene content. Then they do see and understand what we put into it in 4 weeks.
Well, the Twitters alone must have taken you.
No, Twitter installation was
really
me and Eddie.
And everything.
Yeah, that was easy. The mids were more complicated. Mid-bass drivers in 4 doors were easy. Box at the back took more time, and the amp rack took the longest, to be fair. But like what I also showed you, that not a single panel goes back in our cars without treatment. All the door cards were treated, as you could see, dead end, soundproofed, isolated, all the little plastics, even like to the point where, when we had to take stuff out, run cables, these panels, these would rattle crazy without any isolation. So before putting these pieces back, we put foam at the right places to isolate it. All those little things. Or like we had, I showed it to Patreon as well to some guys, panels like, plastics like this. Here, you have a little plastic, actually that one. Manufacturers don't build cars that have to withstand, I don't know, concert level audio. But those panels can still buzz even on the road from just road noise.
Yeah.
But we would never put panels back without checking. Is it rattle free? Tap it, knock it, or if the system is playing, turn the system up and see how car behaves. To be fair, I was pleasantly surprised that at the back, like when it comes to tailgate, then you have the shelf with mechanism and all those things, they don't buzz with that level of bass that we have.
That's impressive.
So that was really good to see, that the car is put together well. Nothing buzzes on the roof. Your center console at the front, at the rear view mirror, doesn't buzz. In many cars it does. Although there, I think one of the trim panels that it treated. But there are a few things which were challenging, but overall, we are pretty much rattle free at any level. And that's what I want from any system. Because you will turn it up. I know you will.
I will.
I know you will. Everybody does. Many customers say that, I don't want it loud. No. But it's like having this performance car. You don't drive it crazy all the time, but when you do, you have the ability and the effortless delivery. All right, we are going to end this video here because we have so many things to do in a very short time. Hopefully you liked it, guys. Feel free to ask any question in the comment section or send an email that you can find in the description, as well as the link to Patreon, where you can see every single step what went into this car if you want to learn about it. And get ready, because it's going to be hard work to do anything in these new cars. But at least, the more we can share, the more we can help the community, and more people can have a very pleasurous, system and better drive. Because now, how long is the drive back?
It's a good 20 hours altogether.
Gotta be more. Oh, pure driving hour.
Yeah, pure driving.
Pure driving
1
hour,
week altogether.
but you will split it up. Yeah. Some people could drive it in probably 2 days, but.
No, I'm gonna do like 3-4 hours a day.
But you have places to stop at and then see things and people, so then it makes sense. It's a nice journey that way. Now with a good system.
Absolutely.
All right, this is it, guys. Subscribe, share it, do the usual things, and then I'm sure we will bring another nice car very soon. Take care.